Hello, my name is Aldana Allen, and I am excited to be the pastor here at St. Mark's United Methodist Church. I want to welcome you to our worship service. We are located at 917 Clanton Road, and I'll be glad to have you anytime. God bless.
Greetings, St. Mark's Church family. Today I have the honor and privilege to sit down and talk and have a conversation with our new pastor, Reverend Aldana Allen. So we are excited that you have chosen St. Mark's to be your church home.
Thank you.
And I know that you didn't just start preaching or being a pastor yesterday. Tell us a little bit about how you answered the call to become a minister and a pastor.
Amen. How much time do we have? How long do we want this video to be? So for me, I would really start the credit for my call really goes back to my early days as a child. I was born in Mississippi, near Natchez Trace, but I grew up in Tennessee. We moved to Tennessee when I was 3 years old. But my parents were very intentional about making sure that I stayed connected. My younger brother and I stayed connected with our cousins and everybody else. So every summer they would take us back to Mississippi and make sure we were connected to the extended family. And while I was there, I would hear from my aunties and my grandmothers. And there was a saying that was, if somebody in the family somehow managed to escape the call, it has to come out in successive generations. And apparently, I don't know if my grandfather or somebody along the line was supposed to accept and didn't, but the mantle fell to me early on, and I heard it even when I was young. Oh, you're going to be the preacher. You're going to be the preacher.
Wow.
And so that was, I think, my first hearing of it. Obviously, it didn't fully connect to me until many, many years later. And my actual call story begins, I say, when I was completing my undergraduate at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, go Vols. And I was completing my time there, and I was attending Haven Chapel United Methodist Church, wonderful, predominantly African-American congregation in the Claxton community. And through the leadership of the Reverend Dr. Alvin Smith, he was instrumental in my accepting the call. Specifically, what he did, he took me to seminary. Unbeknownst to me, I thought we were going to go on a visit. He would take me around, and I would visit with him to take communion to people and see the homebound folks. And one day he told me to get in the car with him and let's roll. So I just obediently followed my senior pastor. And we were driving for a while, and I thought, well, maybe we're going to see somebody a little further out. And it just kept going and going. And before too long, we had driven from Claxton to Atlanta. And Atlanta is where Gammon Seminary is. Yes. And so my pastor, Dr. Alvin Smith, put me in a car, drove me to seminary, and told me this is where I was going to go to school.
That is too good. And so you went.
Yes.
And you did not leave and kick and scream and say, no, I'm not going to do this.
That was some of the precipitating stuff that made him put me in the car to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah. I was helping out at Haven Chapel. I was, helping to lead Bible study and doing the children's message and just general things along those lines. I even preached for him a couple of times whenever he was sick. And several people had sensed, this other call that was on my life, but I was resisting, and so finally he said, "We're gonna fix this."
We're gonna fix this. And you answered the call.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
so indeed. You have what I call a first lady pastor, and our first lady is also in the ministry.
Yes.
When did you meet Pastor Sonia?
Yes.
Was she called at the same time, or how did that unfold?
Sure. So for those who don't know, the Reverend Sonia McCauley Allen is the pastor of Bellefonte Presbyterian Church in Harrisburg, and she and I met in seminary. The seminary specifically that I went to was Gammon. That's the United Methodist Seminary, but the umbrella organization is called the ITC, and that stands for Interdenominational Theological Center. And at the ITC, they have several constituent seminaries. So she was at Johnson C. Smith, which was the Presbyterian seminary. And we took all of our classes together except for those that are specific to the denomination. So we would see each other on campus and, all this stuff. And I would shoot my shot and get blocked. But I'd go for the rebound and kept on. And so finally, really, it was our last year that we got serious, really close to graduation. And I came to her, I said, "You want to make a real go of this? Let's get serious about this. Let's go." And she agreed, and so we actually dated for a good long while. We were engaged for a year, and we dated for 2 years prior to that. So we were together for 3 years before we even got married.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Fernando and I share a similar story in the fact that we met at college, and I would say that our music ministry really brought us together.
Yes.
We had a church together, did the student choir together, and that almost the same thing, just
Yes.
sort of had a go at it and was like, "Oh, I miss you outside of music." And however, my call has evolved a little bit, and it's a wonderful to do ministry together. Like, I love doing ministry with him, but the assignment now has somewhat stretched me, and sometimes we are now in the growing pains of there are some Sundays that I can't be here because I'm having to
being sent out.
being sent out, and that is new in our relationship. So I'm gonna take a point of privilege and just ask, what advice? How do you all make that work? I know we were just talking about that today. He really supports me and wants me to be able to go out and do that, and I want to do it without guilt. And it's very hard though, because I also want to be here, and I also want to do, the pieces of that. But what advice would you give us young in this and having to be in serving and doing the Lord's will in two different places?
That's an excellent question. I will actually start with a confession. I'll come back around to your advice, but I'll start with a confession. I haven't always navigated that territory very well. I think Sonia did a better job, especially early in our relationship, of really identifying the needs of the congregation and having that space, and then the needs of our marriage and having that space. Y'all about to laugh, about to say, I can't believe Pastor about to be so crazy, but here's one of the stupid things that I did. I'm just gonna go ahead and confession is good for the soul.
It's good for the soul, Pastor.
So
it's gonna free us.
Yes. So I foolishly stopped thinking about special date nights. Instead, I was saying, well, the church is going to have the fellowship function, or the church is going to have it, and so I thought that would be our time to gather, right?
Yes.
Right. Oh, we're going to be together down here. We'll be able to eat over here, instead of it being us and special. And so, if Sonia, if you watch this, my confession. So I can't say that I always navigated that space well. I hope that I've done better in more recent years, but I think that she's always made a strong effort at that. But now, the advice that I would give, two things. Number one, communication, just like in any marriage situation in general, but absolutely communication is going to be key. Staying on top of the ins and the outs of scheduling and those types of things, that's going to be critical. We also learned a long time ago not to schedule for each other. I don't put her on program anywhere.
That's a good one. That is a good one. That is a real good one.
If you want Reverend Macaulay Allen, you better call her yourself. Right. I can't put her on program. No. So that's one. And then the other thing, it ties into communication, but just tweaking it just a little bit, and being able to really be vulnerable and to be able to express and say, it bothered me that you're spending this time over here, or where can we double back around and make sure that we're holding our marriages sacred.
That's amazing. You have blessed us. You're going to help Fernando and I get through this weekend.
Amen.
We also share another common bond here or similarity, and that is two boys.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
DJ and KJ.
Yes.
And with family and ministry, and um, also being able to put all that together. Um, you're both in ministry. So how do you balance with the boys? Which one is more important? Which church do they need to go to? Who needs to take care of the boys? And my boys are in AAU. Fernando and we are crazy with scheduling, as you said. But ministry, tell me a little bit how you all manage raising two boys and church, and which job is more important, and what trumps what.
As weird as it might sound, and she might have a different perspective, so I got to be careful how I say this. I don't know that we have run into a specific example of. We definitely have had scheduling places where we both need to be some space, and so for that, here again, I can say a great appreciation to my in-laws. Thank you, Clarence and Ann McCauley. They are right around the corner from us, and so they come in extremely well because again, we can't plan a hospital, a late night, something's happening, emergencies happen. So there are times that take us both out and away. But I will say that it has never felt to me like one church trumping another. I think that we've managed to do that pretty well, and because we've been very intentional about the boys and protective of them in many ways and their schedule, we've always tried to make sure we honor that. So she would have them in swimming, and I would have them in martial arts or boxing. Or she would have them, doing something, and so we were very intentional about that. We were actually intentional about them going to both churches. DJ was baptized as an infant in the United Methodist Church, and KJ was baptized as an infant in the Presbyterian Church. Although when the confirmation class came, I took them both, so they went through confirmation with me.
They have had confirmation.
Yeah, so they're both Methodist, confirmed Methodist now. So.
That is too good. That's important. We know that. If not, I cannot promise you that we would not have sent them through confirmation here with us.
They can go again. They can look. There's always more to learn.
They've had it. That is so good. But awesome.
They do alternate between the churches. So you'll probably see them, some here, and then other times they'll be at Sonia's church. I guess it gives them double the youth groups to hang out with. So.
It just expands their network in their village. That's awesome.
That's right.
All right, Pastor, we're getting ready to have some fun. Okay, and we're going to play a rapid response game. So you can't think about it. It's one word or the other. It's just one. You got to choose. You got
She's gonna make a pastor hold to one word.
Yes, right. You got to hold to one word. We do not get an explanation. You can't tell us why you chose that. Okay, Pastor, here we go. Rapid fire.
Hit me with your best shot.
Only one answer can go. Quick as possible. Work or play?
Play.
Love or friendship?
Love.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Easy.
Summer or winter?
Summer. Easy.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Okay. Salty or sweet?
Salty.
Do you watch shows one episode at a time or binge whole seasons?
I'll binge.
Yes.
I'm down for the whole show.
Would you rather fly or have a superpower?
Fly.
Physical strength or mental strength?
Mental.
Are you more of an introvert or extrovert?
Ooh, depends on the day. But people make me tell. I know I'm supposed to answer. No, extrovert.
He's cheating. A night out or a night in?
Night in.
Mm-hmm. Expensive presents or homemade presents?
Oh, give me some expensive.
Yeah. Do you kill bugs you find inside or do you take them outside?
Smash them.
Do you prefer driving or flying?
Driving.
Would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
That's a tough one too, man. Oh, future. Okay, future.
Do you prefer social time or alone time?
Alone.
Are you more of a thinker or a doer?
Thinker.
Street smarts or book smarts?
Book smart.
Learn by watching or learn by doing?
Watching. I'm going to say watching.
Fresh food or fried foods?
Fried.
Are you more cautious or bold?
Cautious.
Cannonball into the pool or dip a toe in first?
Toe.
Would you rather sleep in late or take a long nap midday?
Ooh. That's changed over the years. Used to be sleep in, but now a nap in the day. I don't know, something happened when I hit 50. I don't know. But yeah.
Outside activity or inside activity?
Outside.
Okay. Comedy or drama for a movie?
Comedy.
Okay. Greek or non-Greek?
Greek. Absolutely Greek.
Anyone particular?
Oh, of course.
What is it?
Look, the bishop knew that you all needed some more blue and white here.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
look, I was already wearing it to the office. You're going to see much more of this around here. So,
Phi Beta Sigma it is. I wore this blue for Pastor, not for Zeta Phi Beta. But we all know, much love.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pastor. I enjoyed this.
Thank you.
So, congregation, do you have a question that you would like for me to ask the pastor? Well, send them to me. Let me know. No, not anything. But what do you want me to ask the pastor? We will be doing this once a month, so send your questions in all of July, and in August, you might get your answer to your question.
Man, I look forward to it. Thank you all very much. Thank you for the interview, and thank you, church.
Thank you, Pastor.